What's good, collective? We got a Gemini new moon coming up, so I'm gonna do a collective reading for everybody for this Gemini new moon. I think that it's the 27th. Probably should have looked it up, but 27th, 28th, I believe, but it's officially Gemini season now, so happy birthday to all you Gemini sun signs out there. We're gonna jump in and get started here. I'm just gonna pull cards and see what comes out for the collective during this new moon energy. So I have a lot of Gemini placements myself. I have a Gemini stellium in my first house, and I am all over the place. So anyone else who can empathize, I'm sending the Gemini love. But let's see what jumps out here, collective. All right, Spirit, what do we have for the collective for this Gemini new moon 2025? What do we have here for the collective? Ooh, focus, focus. We have the Fool card, the 0 card in the Major Arcana, beginnings. This is Aries energy. This is also can be Aquarius energy, but it's about new beginnings. It's about a fresh start. There's a lot about this card that I love. So if you look at the image here, we have the Fool who's stepping off the edge of the cliff, and there's this dog that is yipping, yapping, barking. This is an energy that reminds me of about 10 years ago. I was a street performer, and I left Michigan, where I'm from here. I went to Scotland for a few months, just with my guitar, just with a suitcase full of clothes, and I landed in in London with two months out. Okay, 2 months out, and I ended up having $36 like in my to my name when I got there, but I never ever in my life do I remember a time that I felt so in sync with the flow of things. And it was, all of my distractions were stripped away. All of everything I'd built up to that point had been stripped away. And there was this, I kind of want to say reckless abandon, but it was more than that. It was, because it was reckless. And I think that that's what this energy is about sometimes. It's about irrational optimism, or it can be. And you can see that the Fool doesn't even realize he's about to step off the cliff. And that's such a significant thing here, because I remember when I got out of the airport in London and I was trying to find my way to my hostel. I didn't have any cellular service or anything. I was mooching Wi-Fi and Starbucks and everything else. And I remember that I just had this deep sense that I was being led, that every step that I was taking was taking me then to the next step. And it reminded me of the old phrase, may the road rise up to meet you. Okay, that old Irish proverb. And that really is what this energy is about. Sometimes it's about the suspension of logic, or the suspension of our logical faculties, in order to just say yes. Okay, this is a huge yes card for me. This is stepping into the unknown with audacious courage. And I remember I got out of the airport and I was lost. I was trying to find my hostel. And as soon as I emerge from the subway, I see this huge building there, and it's a pub, and in bright neon letters, it just says, "Take courage." For some of you, you are being required to step into something that doesn't make sense. And that is, I feel as though the energy that's coming out from this card is the universe is asking, how much do you trust? So we're going to get a clarifier for this card here. We're going to see what's up with this Fool card. What is up with this irrational optimism that is coming out? Okay, all right. So we had two come all right. This is good. I feel like this is definitely for me. Hopefully it's for some of y'all too. We had two cards come out, the Hierophant and the Two of Cups. The Hierophant in the Tarot, this is another major arcana that's coming out. It's Taurus energy. It can also be Sagittarius energy, but it is about spiritual wisdom, spiritual knowledge, the order of things, and tradition, and how things have been up to this point. Like, that's such a huge thing. How things have been up to this point. That's how it's coming through. And the Two of Cups is here talking about partnerships. And this could be any kind of partnership. It could be a handshake agreement for a business deal. It could also be more like a soulmate type connection, okay? It can be love, it can be romance. Of any of the cards in the tarot that talk about that, though, the love and the romance aspect, this one to me has very specifically a psychic element to it. This is the kind of bond that you have with someone where you know right when they're about to text you. You can feel their feelings even when they're not around. That's such a huge part of this here. So depending on where Gemini lands in your chart, it could be, I'm a Gemini rising, so this is in my first house that I'm experiencing this. So it's very loud, very visible for me. But just, regardless of what your signs are, regardless of where this is landing for you, there's this overall theme in the collective about, do I do things the way that I've always done them in regards to relationships? Do I do them in the way that I've always done them? Or am I willing to see am I willing to see a higher perspective? Am I willing to take a leap into something that's unknown? And the way that the Two of Cups is coming through for all of this for me is sort of this message of, I think either of these individuals, they have their own history, they have their own backstory, they have their own sense of self, dreams, goals, wishes, hopes, fears. And it's in the merging of their energies that they create a third, a unified consciousness. And part of that process means giving up the things that we cling to when it was just us. The things we grew accustomed to, the ways of living, ways of thinking. It feels as though something is being called into question here. The universe is requiring that you assess something. The universe is requiring that you reevaluate whatever situation or circumstance that you find yourself in. And I think that there's a way that this can be done while respecting the road that brought you to where you are now, while simultaneously saying yes to the unknown, the unfamiliar, simultaneously surrendering to the process, surrendering to vulnerability. And I think with that, surrendering to the trust that you have in yourself now moving forward, to show up for the parts of yourself that you have felt have been neglected in the past, or the way that somebody made you feel or tried to make you feel. You can trust yourself to be your best protector, the best protector of your heart. So when it comes to whatever situation that this is, coming together, be very mindful of the people that you build connections and relationships with, because we're at a point now in the evolution of humanity and the expansion of consciousness where the people that you keep close in your company, the people that you keep close in your life, the people you keep close in your bed, whether you realize it or not, they are going to be affecting you emotionally and spiritually. And it reminds me of, well, there's a few different proverbs, verses, whatever tradition of spirituality you want to pull it from. There is a similar thread of wisdom that you find throughout many of the ancient texts of this idea of everything is permissible, but not everything is beneficial, okay? And I think that so much of embracing healing and embracing transformation and embracing our own evolution, it's important to remember that when we heal our shame, it opens us up to possibilities to experience newness, things that maybe we didn't let ourselves go there, we didn't let ourselves do that, we didn't let ourselves think whatever way. Suppression, essentially, the ways that we suppress those parts of ourselves into our shadow psyche. When you begin to transform and expand your consciousness, suddenly you are not bound by that shame anymore. But the flip side of that is realizing that just because you can do something, just because it's not bad or a bad way of being or a bad way of thinking, it doesn't mean that it's going to edify you, and it doesn't mean that it's going to fulfill you or complete you. So there is this huge call to become very aware of what it is and who it is that you want to connect with in a spirit of intention. Yeah. Judgment cards here. The judgment call. The evaluation. What is it that makes you and your soul essence come to life? And whatever is not that, don't invest. Put it in yourself. Let's get one more card for the collective before we wrap up this new moon in Gemini energy reading. What else do we have for the collective? One more message for the collective. Four Pentacles. Guard your heart. Focus on alignment. You can see there's the pentacle on the head, the pentacle over the heart, and the two pentacles creating the foundation. This is about structure, it's about stability. But in its shadow polarity, this can also be about a closed off heart space. It can be about stinginess. It can be about greed. So there is something here about looking very, very closely at what is around you in your environment, looking very, very closely at where it is in your life that you need to make the judgment call. Understanding that each step forward is incrementally building a type of foundation for you that is not going to go away. So that's what I have for you, collective. I'm wishing you a happy new moon. And for the rest of this month, I'm offering a 3-card video pull just for $10. You can email me, the link's in the description box below if you'd like to claim one of those. But until next time, hold on, I'm being called to go on one more card. It's going to say, until next time, stay classy. Yeah, okay. This makes sense. Temperance. Balance. Alchemy. 1 foot in the water, i.e. your emotions. 1 foot on the ground, i.e. your sense of stability, your root chakra, your groundedness. Temper what it is that is moving through you, demanding from you on this Gemini new moon this type of soul transformation. Love you guys. I'll see you in the next one.